first class has been rated so high. Now that I do have the boarding pass, it's kind of through security to check out that first class lounge.
And just when I thought that things couldn't get crazier, this ended up taking 2 seconds because first class came with its own private security, and then all I had to do was make my way up the escalator. First time I've ever entered a lounge.
Alright, we're pushing back.
This is pretty insane.
So,
And you're in one piece.
take off. For right. For left.
This lounge is absolutely
Wait, you didn't even hear my house.
a list of things that we need to see. Number one,
Hey,
there is a
what piece you want to use money?
Number two, apparently there is
Bro, this is so loud, I can not hear
crazy
you.
spot buildings. Number three, of course, we have to check out the food because that's our first. So let's get started. Starting things off in the store, there are iPhones, iPads, and headphones. Watches that cost more than
You
$1.
took
Craziest thing I've ever seen. That's when I noticed that there was a cinema for
Wait,
watching
did you know
movies.
some of your some of your music voice edits? Yeah, they can make sure they monitor. So yeah, I wasn't saying
You can
good
hear a
about
pin drop. So whenever I'm talking to the camera, it's just like, oh, everyone can hear me right now.
But this wasn't going to stop me from finding everything I had planned out. And eventually I found the games room, which had a super bougie table soccer, tons of gaming consoles, and exactly what I was looking for.
I think I just found the craziest thing I've ever seen in a lounge, which is a Formula One.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cut through the
racing
taxiways
simulator.
because that's just what I do.
Now that we had checked off the first item on the list, it was
Wait, I'm
time
live
to find
streaming
a
right now.
spa. And once
Alex,
I
I'm
got
live
there, I
streaming
was
right now.
greeted by yet another water area. But then I was brought down a series of hallways to a private room, which had a massage bed, and then was given access to an entire bedroom.
He's making a gear up,
Here
man.
you see, we have a desk and a TV.
Wait, Kaden, Kaden,
Yeah, not to do that really working with them.
Kaden, what's your opinion?
And just like the Hoodie Bell, there's only one thing to do.
Fucking.
Oh,
Your
this
thing.
thing
You need
is
to turn.
super
Wait, let's just
comfortable. I
nosedive
wish I
into
could
the
spend the entire night here.
But because I only had this room for an hour, I think it's time for a shower. Let's check the shower off on this. Now at this point, we had checked off 2 of the 3 goals for the lounge, and the only thing left to do was
Yeah,
check
let's
out the
turn
food.
them on.
Over in the
Autopilot.
snack section, there were things like
What do you want,
sushi,
Alex?
salads, and different meat dishes. But I decided to head over to the main dining area, which had a massive
How do you
bar and
what?
a la carte dining, meaning I could order literally anything on the menu. Now I was taking a look at the dinner menu, and for the appetizer, I think I'm going to go with the Arabic meze. For the main dish, there is a Wagyu beef tenderloin, which I cannot pass up. And for dessert,
Hey,
hear me out,
come back.
there is a chocolate lava cake. I have a feeling this is going to be pretty good. So starting things off, we've got the Arabic meze. On the left here, it looks like some sort of a rice thing. We got some salad type looking thing, and also some hummus. I know
No,
I'm completely
I'm
butchering what they are. There's probably
taking a break.
specific
I'm just
names.
coming-
Please
I'm
let
only
me
here
know.
so I
But I
can
think it's
talk to
time to give it a try. Cheers.
I'm playing an airplane game right now.
Super tasty.
Wait,
Next
what's
up,
that?
the rice.
What's
Definitely
up?
different from the hummus,
I'll be back.
but still super solid. And finally, the solid thing in the
Alright,
middle.
here you go again.
Overall, this gets a solid 9, but now it's time for that Wagyu.
This looks unbelievable. Here we got the Wagyu steak, we got some tomatoes, we got some asparagus. I think these are potatoes, and maybe that's gravy? So I guess we're gonna have to give it a try. A little bit of sauce. Cheers.
Oh my prime.
My
Yes.
God. I'm not even just
Alex.
wrapping it up because it's Qatar Airways and this is first class.
Ready up.
That is genuinely one of the best steaks I've had. It is cooked to perfection, super juicy, super tasty, and the sauce makes it even better. You know what? We're just gonna dump the whole thing on. The potatoes, delicious. Tomatoes,
Alright, we are
really good
cruising
too.
at 7,000
Honestly, I
feet.
think I'm gonna have to give this a solid 10.
And last but not least, the chocolate lava cake. Now I'll be completely honest, I was so distracted by the cake that I forgot to turn on the mic, but overall it was a solid 10 out of 10, and I'm gonna need to give
Guys,
this lounge
what
a
are
solid
you
10
guys
out
playing?
of 10 too. But now at this point it was getting close to boarding, so I decided to get on the train to go to the other side of the airport, where they had crazy things on sale like McLarens, G-Wagons, and pretty much any designer store that you could possibly think of, along with a bunch of tiny robots walking around. But that's when I realized there was another lounge, so obviously I needed to check out that one too.
I need to
Taking
turn
the
around.
elevator upstairs, there was a Louis Vuitton bar, Dior spa, games room, and even an entire gym for working out.
I
have never seen an airport.
Heading
This
285.
place is on another level. Now at this point, my mind was
285
already
secret
blown. I
forest.
just hadn't
Okay,
seen
I'm gonna
this
check
level
Alex.
once. But that's when I noticed there was a miniature rainforest inside
Jaden,
the
can I
airport.
please
So
pick
obviously, I
Alex?
had to make my way through it. There
He's
were so
already
many different
gone.
paths and a
No,
massive
just-
rope
he must be
bridge, but
doing
that's when I
something.
stumbled across even more designer stores.
I don't think I've ever seen so many designer stores.
Yeah, he must be just doing something.
And at this point, I had almost forgotten the fact that
No,
I was
that's
a
a
flight
kick.
to catch. But that's when I got
Oh,
a text saying that I
wait.
needed to head back to the first class lounge. Now it turns out I'm actually back at the first class lounge because when I was looking at the
Sorry.
board,
Bro, this is me when I'm playing the race game solos
you go through security
without you playing. This is me.
through the lounge. I don't know if they're driving
Sorry?
a private car or if it's a bus or what the situation is, but there's still about 5 minutes before then, so I thought I'd read you guys some of the reviews about Qatar
Boom.
Airways first class, just so you know.
Yeah, nah, I have.
Absolutely the best. We
Engines
flew
have
on
failed.
This could
We
be
need to go idle
potentially
throttle.
amazing.
Great. Okay.
My three-step program. Get the app, get your code, order.
We need to make an emergency landing. I repeat, we
And
need to
the
make an
airlines,
emergency
United,
landing.
American, Cathay, Lufthansa, and
What
by
the
far
hell are
Qatar
you
is
doing?
absolutely the
Right.
best. The dining was like a 5-star
I'm
restaurant.
playing the plane
We were
game
given a
called-
wonderful amenity
I need to
bag
make it a
and
reverse.
also
I need to make
comfy
an emergency
PJs to
landing.
wear and keep. 5 stars. First class flight with attention to detail. My flight
Alright, gear
bag
up, gear
very
up, gear up.
comfortable with no noise. Meals are offered at a time to suit the passenger. 4.5 stars. I flew Qatar Airways and overall it was great. From designated check-in areas to special immigration areas when leaving and arriving to Doha to comfortable seats with privacy doors, the experience was impressive and the food was also great. 5 stars. Now obviously,
I think I
since
might
Qatar
need to
Airways is
repair
one of
the
best airlines in
engines.
the world after seeing this unreal lounge experience and everything
Love
else,
ya.
I am super excited to try them out. So now let's figure out how I'm actually gonna board this flight. Now after a couple of minutes, this desk announced that it was time to board, so I made my way
This
down
isn't
the
a proper-
elevator to the first class bus, which had these massive
What the
seats.
hell are you doing?
Coming!
Where you get onto a first class bus. Only on
Coming!
Qatar Airways, I guess.
Now, after driving from one side of the airport to the other, it was finally time to board and to see what Qatar Airways first class is actually like. Hi there.
Bro, were you talking to the game or your dad?
No, I'm
I got
talking
to
about
my
that. I'm going to do
CAA,
that.
and let me tell you, it looked absolutely insane.
Toilet paper.
Thank you. These are pajamas for the flight. This is gonna be awesome. So I've been on this flight for maybe 2 minutes, and I already have a glass of champagne. So obviously we have to try it out. Very bubbly, but very good. Alright, so some initial thoughts. Right off the bat, the seat is super comfortable. The butt cushion is super padded. On top of that, there's like a mini pillow for your back, and also the bedding for the flight. That's right, this seat can turn into an entire bed, which I'll be showing you guys later on. The back cushion here is super padded, and on some airlines, the headrest can be like super stiff, but this one is actually really nice. And I almost forgot the best part, because there is this giant pillow here as well, and it is extremely soft. But that's not all, because this seat has one of the biggest TV screens I've ever seen. Not only is it massive, but the quality is super good too, and we're totally gonna have to check out all the movies and all that stuff once we're there. And some of the other things that I see looking around is we have a massive tray table, there's like marble counters all over. Beside me, there's kind of a second seat in case you have friends on the flight and they want to come visit you. And inside of that, there's water, the waist bag, and also some headphones too. But these are just some of the things that I've noticed. And the craziest part, I need to show you once we're in the air. But for now, let's start exploring some more.
Looking around, the legroom was actually crazy, and there was a cubby which I could fully extend my legs. But over on my side, there was this control panel which made the seat do a bunch of different things. There was a full-size outlet and USB ports, meaning that technically you could hook up a game console to the screen and play online thanks to the Starlink Wi-Fi. There was also this remote control of media and a refreshing towel, plus the amenities kit, which I'll be checking out before bed.
Now, one of the things that I forgot to mention about this seat is that I'm actually facing back backwards. You see, when it comes to Qatar Airways First Class or their Q-Suite product, they have a ton of different variations. Some of the business class seats face forward, but the only problem with that is you're not close to the window, so you have a little bit less privacy. But some of the other crazy things is that if you're seated in the middle, they have something called doubles and quads. When it comes to the double, there's a wall in the middle that will come completely down, which is perfect for traveling with a girlfriend or a boyfriend or your kids or whatever. But then there's something called the quad. And when it comes to the quad Q-Suite, this is where things get pretty crazy because all four walls can come down and you could have entire meetings, or if you're a family of four, you could all sit, chat, and dine together, which I don't think exists on any other airline. Unfortunately for me, I don't have a girlfriend, and I also don't have four friends who can just spontaneously travel with me, so that's why we're at this one. But now I think we're about to push back, and then once we're in the air, there is so much more that we still need to explore. We're going to go through the menu, we're going to test out the food to see what that's like. We got to go through the in-flight entertainment, the amenities kit, and it's not just one meal. I think there's 2 or 3 meals on this flight. I am super excited for this.
And just as I was saying this, it was finally time to push back from the gate. And soon enough, it was time for takeoff.
What is my plane?
Back when I was on the road, I said that this was
What
the
is
mattress, but I was actually...
Oh look, you should see what my plane is like right now.
This is really a blanket.
Yeah.
It's so fluffy. I won't lie, this is the biggest blanket I have ever seen on an airplane before. It is definitely soft. But now that I am in the air, I can show you guys the craziest part of this seat. And trust me, it is insane. Now normally in an airplane seat, this would be completely open. You just use it to get in and out. But on Qatar Airways, this actually has a secret door that I can close like that. If I really wanted to, I could just open it and close it. Literally, as much as I would want. But when this door is closed, that means I have 360 degrees of complete privacy, and it's literally a room in the sky, which kind of makes sense why they call it a suite versus a seat. But if you remember back when I was on the ground, they actually gave me an entire set of pajamas. So let's see what's inside. First, I got a pair of fluffy slippers. I'm not kidding, they're literally fluffy. We've got the pajama bottoms, pretty sweet. And finally, the pajama tops. But to make things even better, these were Formula One pajamas. I think it's time to get changed. But now that I'm back in my seat, I can see the flight attendants literally preparing the food. So I think it's time we check out the entertainment system and find ourselves a movie. Then go through the menu to figure out what I'm actually going to be eating on this flight. And then it's going to be time to review the delicious food. I hope it's delicious considering it's first class. I'm sure it will be. Starting things off with the entertainment, looking through the movies, there were plenty to choose from. And the same can be said for the shows with all of the different series. Along with that, there was a section for audio, another for kids, the HDMI mode where you can pick up a gaming console, and also mobile games where I lost to the computer in a game of checkers. On top of that, there were also plane cameras where you can look outside of the plane, and also a map. But now, how...
I have 2 cats, Storm and Nin. Before using ProPlan Live Clear, I spent a lot of time cleaning and trying to manage the allergens in my house. Since switching to ProPlan Live Clear, Storm and Nin are now a bigger part of my life.
about the food? Starting things off with the wine menu, they had pretty much anything you could possibly want, most of which were very expensive. And looking at the menu, there were starters like soup, Arabic meze, or salmon. The mains had things like beef, chicken, or lobster. And for dessert, there was fondue, fruit, or a banana split. But that isn't all, because there were also light meals I could have at any time, and also a ton of options for breakfast. But for now, it was time to begin with the first small snack. Now before the appetizer, they came around with some warm nuts and also some chips and a glass of wine. The nuts, I kind of know what they are, but when it comes to the chips, it kind of looks like beef jerky, and I don't really know what it's going to taste like. So I guess there's only one way to find out. Okay, these are fire. The best way to describe them is the best kind of potato chips you've ever had. Imagine Pringles, but add some spices, and make it 10 times better. That is exactly what these taste like. Solid 10. And then next up, it's time to put some warm nuts in my mouth. That sounded so wrong. Very nutty, but very solid. I think it's time for the appetizer. But before that, it turns out there was also bread and beef tartare, which was solid, but now it was time for the Arabic meze. On the far left here we have some sort of a salad. I don't know exactly what it is. If you're Arabic, please let me know. In the middle is the hummus, and then on the far right hand side, again, I don't really know what it is, so someone please tell me down in the comments. But obviously, we're gonna have to try all three, starting with the salad. Definitely tastes like a salad, but it is very good. Next up, the hummus. Cheers. Absolutely slaps. And then finally, whatever this third one is, I guess we'll find out. Bada bing, bada boom. Well, I can't tell which one's better, the hummus, whatever that was. And if I'm being completely honest, the only complaint that I have is I wish they gave a little bit more pita bread. There's only 4 pieces, and look at all of this. But still, in terms of taste, solid 9.5. I think it's time for the main dish. So this is the main dish, which is the beef. We got some seasonal veggies, we got some broccoli on the side here, not really sure what that is, and as a meat lover, I'm going to be extremely picky with this. I've flown other airlines before, and I always get the main dish, so I'm very, very interested to see how this one compares. So, don't be offended if I kind of skip the veggies first. Let's start with the meat. Let's see how good this is. Or bad. We'll find out. Cheers. Okay. It's pretty solid. Definitely not the best meat I've ever had in my life or on airlines, but it is still super tasty. When it comes to the veggies, solid. And the broccoli, delicious. This dish is a solid 8.5, but now it's time for the best one, which is dessert. And I am very excited for this. I'll be completely honest, I have never had a banana split sundae before, but this looks unbelievable. We've got cherries, we got blueberries, we got the ice cream, some caramelized bananas, and I think the craziest part about this is I'm 35,000 feet in the sky about to eat a banana split. Cheers. You know, now I'm thinking to myself, how have I never had one of these before in my life? Because it is so good. This gets a solid 10 out of 10. I am literally in heaven right now. So overall, I'm gonna need to give the food served on the flight a solid 4.5 star rating. So I'll be completely honest here, after that meal service, I am officially in a food coma. It was super good, it was super delicious, but I had so much to eat that at this point, I need to get to bed. Before I show you what this seat looks like as a bed, I think it's time we check out the amenities kit. So in the amenities kit we have a card, we've got some body lotion, some face cream, some nourishing lip balm, some facial mist, which is very misty, and finally, a nice pair of socks. Overall, pretty solid. But now it's time to brush our teeth and head to bed. It's teeth brushing time. It's teeth brushing time. But while I was here, I decided to check things out some more because the bathroom was super nice, coming with things like special creams or fragrances and a toothbrush drawer. But after getting back to my seat, it was fully made into a bed for me, so I decided to sleep for the next few hours until it was time for breakfast. Now, I don't know if you guys are into sports, but I feel like I just won the draft pick lottery with this breakfast. Over here, we have some breads. We have a croissant, we have a double chocolate chip muffin, and some bread. In the middle, we have a fresh platter of fruit. We got strawberries, blackberries, watermelon, mango, pretty much everything. I almost forgot to mention I've also got a sparkling orange juice and a cherry smoothie. So I think it's time to dive right in. The croissant, strawberry jam, delicious, but now it's time for the fresh fruit. I'll be honest, I don't really know what this thing is, so I'm probably gonna avoid this one. I'd rather not explode in the next 2 hours, if you know what I mean. Bon appetit. Surprisingly, the fruit is pretty fresh. It gets a solid 9 from me. And last, but certainly not least for the appetizers, we have the granola yogurt. And yes, this is just the appetizer for breakfast. I still have a main dish coming after this. Solid 9.5. Now it's time for the main dish. I'll be honest, this bagel looks unreal. Inside there's some cilantro, we got some bacon, I think. Don't quote me on that, I don't know if it is bacon. We got some eggs, some avocados, and it looks delicious. Now, they also decided to give me, like, an entire forest, which I probably won't be touching. I think it's time to give this bagel a try. Hopefully, it lives up to the hype. This gets a solid 10 out of 10 from me. But now after all of that, there is only about 20 minutes left in this flight, so I thought it would be time to give you guys the final ratings. If you guys made it this far in the video, I'm just going to say it right now, Emirates is actually a great airline too, and the title was complete rage bait. So starting things off back on the ground, the check-in experience was absolutely insane, and that gets 5 stars. When it came to the lounge, that also gets 5. The seat gets 5 as well. The food gets 4.5, and when it comes to the amenities, I'm gonna have to give that one 4 stars. Overall, Qatar Airways first class was unreal. What if I told you America?
Oh, I hate this animation.
Chew you good. Extra.
Normally when you head to the airport, you have to drive, but when you fly first class, you get a private chauffeur.
And this is just one of the many things that makes Etihad's first class so special. But unlike other airlines such as Emirates, Etihad also has something better than first class called the Residence, which can cost up to $25,000. But sometimes if you get extremely lucky, this can actually be free.
And not only do you get a private driver, but there are also butlers waiting to grab your luggage and a private first class check-in.
Unlike a usual check-in line, this place was filled with couches and other places to sit while the staff checked me in. But after, they had people come to carry my bags while they brought me over to a private security line.
And because it's first class, it is genuinely the fastest security experience you could possibly imagine. But to make things even crazier, they escort you through the airport to the lounge, which is currently happening right now. So far, this is insane.
And it isn't just any lounge they were bringing me to, because it turns out they had one dedicated strictly for first class passengers.
I think that is the quickest I've been through security in the entire airport process in my entire life. I'll be honest, I feel kind of out of place here. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I'm just some YouTuber. And the people in here, they're very fancy.
Now, from here on out, here's how things are going to go. I'm going to be rating the lounge, on-flight amenities, food, seat, and most importantly, the overall experience of what it's like having the most exclusive flying experience money can buy. All to see if it's really worth it or not.
But now, one of the benefits to flying first class with Etihad is that they've gone ahead and booked me a private massage. You heard me right. I get a free 15-minute massage just because I'm flying first class. I mean, I'll take it, but before we do that, I think I should go and check out this incredible lounge because it's also one of the biggest lounges I've ever seen in my life. There are big fancy seats. Not only one big fancy couch, but multiple big fancy couches, which are also super soft. Seating areas where you can lounge with all of your friends. Numerous fancy sleep areas. Minibar area number 1, which also has fancy Voss water, very bougie. A bar full of Voss water. A TV to watch sports. There's artwork, which looks quite expensive. And also an area for fine dining. So you already know I need to order something. Up first, we've got the drink menu. We've got 2 pretty fancy champagnes, 4 very fancy bottles of white wine, which I might have to have. There's also 4 red wines and a dessert wine too. Fortified wine, which I'm not exactly sure what it is, but might give it a try. But now, how about the main menu? First of all, we've got a beautiful, welcome message, which I always appreciate. For the appetizers, there's Arabic meze, maple seared scallops, some spinach, and sweet potatoes. Might give one of those a shot. We'll see. There's 5 mains, and the beef
How much they sell
tenderloin
for, like,
is
50 or
definitely
60
speaking to me.
cents?
And for dessert, I'm a lover of chocolate, so obviously
I probably
I've
have
got to
something
do
extra
that.
in
And
my
when it comes to beef, I absolutely love it, so I'm going to be extremely judgmental. So that means if I say it's good, it's actually good, because if it's bad, you're going to know. But first, we got to put the sauce on it. Perfect. It's really good. Like, really good. It's super juicy, the sauce pairs extremely well, and you don't even need salt. Solid? 9.5 out of 10. But how about the chocolate?
Burrito.
It was cake. Very, very good cake. 10 out of 10 from me. But now that I'm all done in the first lounge, it's time for the second lounge. Yes, there is 2 lounges to explore.
Starting things off upstairs, there was a massive bar where you could get any drink that you wanted while socializing with others. But on the floor below, there was a ton of cool stuff, like a games room where you could play table footy, showers, and even a lounge for cigars.
I swear, this is the biggest lounge I've ever been to. It's massive, and we're not even done yet.
Now, pretty much everywhere I looked, they had these bougie air fresheners, but even better than that was downstairs on the main level, because there was a buffet-style restaurant where you could get pretty much anything that you wanted to eat. But that's when I noticed the spa was also on this floor, so I think it's time to get that first-class massage.
So I just signed the form for massage, and I put max firmness. I've never done max firmness before, so we'll see how this goes.
Now, as a dude who has only had 2 massages in his life, I had no idea what treatment to pick, because there were a ton of different options to choose from, and I could have even gotten a haircut. But in the end, I decided to settle on a back massage, which blew my back out in the best way possible.
I can confirm my back has been properly assaulted. I have 1,000 knots that are now destroyed. So in terms of the first class lounge, it was elegant, beautiful, luxurious, and the food was delicious. The business class lounge was absolutely massive. Also, if you're wondering why I've been so quiet this whole time, it's literally silent in here, and I don't want to disturb everyone else. Because again, I'm a YouTuber, and most of these other people are very rich. So I think for the lounge rating, I'm gonna have to give it a solid 9.5. But now before I experience Etihad first class, I thought I'd read you guys some of the reviews, just so we know what we're in for.
Great experience and clean airport. I enjoyed the pajamas given to me in first class. Meal options were pretty good as well. 5 stars. Recently, I had the pleasure of flying the first class apartment. The ground experience at the first class lounge is outstanding. The flight was one of the best, if not the best, in the sky for commercial aviation. Food and beverages on board is simply outstanding. 5 stars. I absolutely loved my flight experience with Etihad. The space was luxurious and beautifully designed, offering the perfect blend of comfort and privacy. Also, the opportunity to shower was something not many airlines offer in their first class. 5 stars.
Now obviously, since it's first class, and since it's a Middle Eastern airline, it is bound to be amazing. But now the reviews are one thing, and as always, the flight itself can be completely different. But now, it's finally time to head to the gate, so let's check out Etihad's first class.
Well, sort of. See, at this point, I still thought I was going to be flying first class, and when I got to the gate, all of this changed, because after getting a notification on my phone, it turns out that I had been upgraded to the Residence, aka the most exclusive and the most expensive airplane seat in the entire world.
I was not expecting this today.
That's a good thing it did happen though.
I know, very good thing. Hi there.
Please enjoy the flight.
Thank you.
Is that correct?
Yes.
You may come with me, please.
Oh, this is exciting.
Think of everything you could do with NIB health insurance. You could save with NIB's No Gap Extras and buy a few more groceries. Let's just start with the extras cover. NIB, potentially amazing.
The Kensington is a project of 142 apartments consisting of Soho apartments, 1, 2 and 3 bedroom. It has a wonderful mix of resident amenity as well, rooftop terraces, lounges, workstations, all made for the private use of the residents here. it is geared towards the investor, but also the owner-occupier. We realise in this area we will have a lot of downsizers, so there are oversized apartments, so very large 2-bedroom and study, 3-bedroom apartments with separate living areas that will cater to that downsizer. The Kensington is actually the first new residential project in this.
Golden acorn?
Holy shit. I've been on the plane for literally 3 seconds, got a glass of champagne in my hand, which is delicious. I don't think you guys are prepared for how insane this seat actually is.
This is the living room. You heard me right. It is a living room on a plane. The seat is actually a full-on couch. Just in case you're flying with friends and you want to invite them over, you have a bench that they could sit on. Over this way is the hallway, which is crazy to think about. The fact that there's a hallway in an airplane seat is insane, which leads to the bedroom. That's right, this is literally a full-on bed in a plane. There's a private bathroom I have all to myself, and behind me is a private shower. And those are just a few things, because there is still so much more that we need to explore, so I think it's time to get started. Straight away, the first thing that I noticed was the massive flat screen TV, comfy blankets that I could use throughout the flight, tons of different comfy throw pillows, charging ports for my devices, and also an HDMI input, meaning I might be able to play video games while on the plane. Yet this is only the tip of the iceberg, because now that we had taken off, things are about to get even crazier. But since I got so lucky and got upgraded to the residence, the first thing I need to do is change into my pajamas, because not only are they inside this bag, but also it includes the rest of the amenities. And from what I've been told, it's all designer brands. This place is crazy.
So up first we've got a bag of goodies. We've got the pajamas themselves, which are incredibly soft. We've also got a pair of slippers, which are extremely fluffy. A toothbrush and
Mom said
toothpaste.
these ones are for me, and I actually got.
I've got myself some earplugs, some natural beauty cream, some facial mist, some point oil, which I don't exactly know what that is, an eye mask, some conditioner for the shower, and also some lip balm.
Oh my god, I got 787.
The pajamas are literally made of silk. Well, I don't know if they're actually made of silk, but they're that comfortable. And it wasn't just the PJs, which are high-end, because this bathroom had Espa skincare, which is apparently super bougie. There were hot towels or cold towels on demand, hair dryer, and also a bathrobe for after I used the shower. And maybe this is TMI, but the toilet seat is actually made of leather too.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the amenities, I'm gonna have to give that a solid 10 out of 10. Now, not only is my seat basically an entire couch, but there are a bunch of secret features that come along with it. For example, down here I have an entire mini fridge all to myself, where the water is Voss. If I push these buttons right here, they also do a ton of different things. This one puts the blinds all the way up, and it also puts them all the way down too. This button right here actually moves the couch forward towards me, which is insane to think of. And of course, we also have this button, which makes the seat into more of a lounge. Because, if you're going to watch movies, you're obviously going to want to make it as bougie as possible. Inside this compartment beside me, there is a mini screen where I can control the lighting, different seat functions, the cushion firmness, the windows, and so much more. But that's not all, because you don't only have one television, you also get a second smaller one inside of the bedroom. I still can't get over the fact that there is a bedroom in this plane that I get to sleep in.
Should I use guitar?
But now that I'm starting to get just a little bit hungry, I think it's time to go through the menu. Because on this flight, it is a la carte, meaning I could order however much I want,
whenever
What do you
I
find?
want, no matter the time. So
think
let's see the options.
Opening the drinks menu, it was very similar to the one in the first class lounge, with various different wines and drinks to choose from, but for the food, it started with caviar. For the appetizers, there were 4 solid options, 5 for the main, a bunch of desserts, and also a breakfast menu as well.
Now I have gone ahead and placed my order for the meal, but before it gets here, apparently there is a lounge on the plane. From my understanding, if you're flying in the residence like this or in first class and you have friends back in business class, you can go to the lounge and socialize. There they have some snacks and drinks, but I don't really know what it looks like, so while I wait for the food, I may as well go investigate.
Making my way through the plane to the lounge, there was a full-service bar that I could use at any time, but it turned out that I
You
was
guys see it right?
here, so I decided
Yeah,
to
but
go
I have
back
pretty
to my
bad
seat to try and see if
burnout.
I could set up my
Pets is
gaming
crazy.
console before the meal
Alright, so we
starts.
got
Now
our
because there
control.
is that
What is
HDMI port in the
spoilers?
seat, technically I should be able to turn
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
massive TV over here
Or
into a
I just
screen
played
for
a
the
game
Nintendo
around
Switch
Springfield.
or to play Minecraft off my laptop. Do I know if it's gonna work? Let's find out.
Now at this point,
I
I genuinely
went
didn't
to-
think that anything was gonna happen, but I got my Switch plugged in and it actually popped up on the TV.
I didn't think it was going to work, but it actually did. I'm about to have the best gaming experience on a frickin' airplane.
But that was gonna need
This
to be
reverse
after
thrust is
I was done
crazy,
with
bro.
the meal, because soon enough the flight attendant came around with my food.
Now, even though there is all of this food, it is only the appetizer. But I am most excited for this, which is the caviar.
And what makes caviar even more special is that it has become the most iconic food on all of Emirates, which makes it so luxurious. But now that Etihad has it, it'll be interesting to see which is actually better.
Gotta use the special spoon. Cheers. This is going to be a very controversial statement. I think the caviar on Etihad is better than Emirates. Next up, the lobster. Oh,
Can
that is
play
unbelievable.
some
How
Fortnite?
about the caviar and the lobster
Soon.
on the bread?
Soon,
Bon
soon,
appetit. Solid
Soon?
10 out of 10.
But it turns out I
I'm up to
actually
minute.
lied, because that was the
6,
salmon
10,
that was with
6,
the caviar, and now it was
I'm
time for
kidding.
the lobster.
Let's see how it is.
If you say 7, I will cry.
Legitimately an explosion of flavor in
Bro,
my
like,
mouth.
look
Oh, I
at
just
this.
need
Look at this wheel detail, bro. What is this?
67.
Oh, yeah, are you watching? Oh, yeah, are you watching my stream?
Cleanse the palate, and it's definitely very tasty.
I can't.
I'm not complaining.
Well, what even is
It's
this
time
thing?
for the main dish, and I
Playing
decided
Roblox?
to get the beef tenderloin. So let's dive right in. Gotta pour the sauce on.
Are you doing TikTok stream?
It's time
No,
for
I
the
didn't
moment
do
of truth.
streams and TikTok.
I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. That is a 10 out of 10.
But now was time
I need to
for
get the
best
proper
part,
runway lineup. I'm just
dessert.
so bad
And
at
now
it.
finally for dessert, I got myself
Alright,
some
breaks.
cheesecake with dark chocolate. The dark chocolate's really good, but how about the cheesecake?
Okay, let go of the brakes and we are rolling.
Legitimately unbelievable. This is way better than the Cheesecake Factory.
Now at this
Roll it.
point, I was entering a bit of a food coma and decided to play some Mario Kart, which to be honest with you was one of the most surreal experiences, being able to do this inside of an apartment on a plane. It was quite literally a dream come true. And to make things even better, once I was done with that, I made my way to the bedroom in order to get a few hours of sleep.
Morning. It's now currently about 7 in the morning, meaning there are 3 hours left in this flight. So I think it's time to take a shower. I have waited my entire life for this moment. It is time to shower on an airplane. This is crazy. Time to push the button. I am officially showering on an airplane.
So for the amenities in the shower, I'm gonna have to give that a solid.
No.
Now
Am I in one of your videos? Because I'm trying to find one of you funny. Like,
We've got a mango smoothie, we've got some toast, we've got some pastries, and omelets, sausages, and so much more. Starting off with the smoothie. Pretty solid. To the pastry.
We need to land back at the bloody airport.
edits for it.
Delicious. To the omelet.
My edits.
Definitely safe.
Yeah, I'm watching your pastry, like
Super fresh. I'll be honest, after this long in the air, I don't know how they managed to
Oh! It's huge!
And honestly, at this point, the food just kept coming, so I tried to enjoy it
What?
as much as I possibly
200.
could before landing. But as for my thoughts on the residence, well, that is officially the best airplane seat and experience in the entire world.
Inside your head.
What is that sound outside of my house?
Allergy, traffic, what's next? Drowsiness?
No way. We had tail fast.
Yeah, I'm watching Brain Rot.
Nah, this isn't the right runway. I'm approaching it wrong. I'm approaching it wrong.
AI PC with Intel inside.
I'm approaching it
It helps
wrong.
save you
The
time
runway's right there.
because it does all your busy work for you. So
I
you
gotta
can get
turn
busy
it. Yeah, this is the wrong approach. This is the wrong approach. Look, I'm just gonna nosedive into the
I'm watching
What if you could fly first class for less than $100? Well, normally a first class flight will cost you thousands of dollars, but somehow
I see
was able to
trees!
get an insanely cheap 8-hour flight on Canada's best airline, Air Canada. So
No,
stick
what the
around because I'm going to show you just how crazy
Water.
this
Alright, full
experience
throttle.
actually is.
Gear up.
Ever since I was a little kid, it has literally been my dream to fly first class. Normally a seat like this costs upwards of $7,000, but the price that I got was absolutely insane. Normally when I do my flights, I check in online, but apparently in person, because I'm flying first class, it is a special check-in process. So we're gonna head there right now to see what it's like before heading to the first class lounge, then finally the flight. I am incredibly excited.
And make sure you stick around until later in the video where I'll tell you exactly how much I ended up paying for this. But in the meantime, I made my way from the airport hotel into the main terminal in order to experience the first class check-in process.
Morning. How are you?
Were you just seen to edit?
Yep. No, just to carry on. Yeah. That way and to the left, I think? Okay, perfect, thank you. B46? Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. You too. Well, that check-in was definitely way faster than the other line. But now that we officially have the first class ticket, let's head through security and check out the Maple Leaf Lounge.
And at this point, after having the ticket in my hand, the excitement was starting to kick in. So I made my way through the airport, but that is when I got stuck in one of the busiest customs lines I have ever seen.
It turns out that first class and priority security doesn't get you away from being double inspected. Yet again, I got my bag searched and a pat down. So we're gonna have to add a point to the tally. I also feel terrible because there was an hour-and-a-half customs line and I literally just skipped to the front. Because I'm young, I just pretended I was with family. And normally I would never do something like this, but we need to review the lounge. So let's head there now and check it out.
And just like my friend told me earlier, after taking a quick escalator ride up a floor, I had arrived at the Air Canada Maple Leaf Lounge. Unlike some of the other lounges I've been to, this is exclusive for first class and high-ranking rewards members. And since it is a branded airline lounge,
30
I
feet
hope
per
it is
minute, we need
good.
to
Right
see
off the
them.
bat, I was greeted with a beautiful view overlooking the airport where I was able to watch planes take off and arriving at the gate. And now it was time to get myself some breakfast. The first thing that caught my eye was the display of sandwiches, various meats, cheeses, and yogurt. But this definitely wasn't all because the sweets were just around the corner. For the main breakfast meal today, guests have a choice of sausages, scrambled eggs, and tons of pastries. Sauce, cinnamon rolls, pretzels, and since Air Canada, pancakes with a side of spreads and maple syrup. As for the drinks, this was a coffee machine which made pretty much anything. Tons of juices, soft beverages, expensive wine, and rosé, accompanied with every type of hard liquor you could possibly think of. And since I was in Frankfurt, obviously there was beer on tap. Obviously, I don't fly first class often, so I decided to load up on tons of food and drinks. And I have to say, the the meal was absolutely delicious. Looking around the lounge, I noticed how high-end things were and the type of people inside, which made me wonder how they could afford this for how expensive
The big question is, do we all give
I'm
up
still missing replacing that.
Should we consider rebrand?
Should we continue putting engineering resources toward?
We should sunset it. Okay. How do you
Wait.
When it seems like all hope was lost, a
Take that,
specialist suggested
take that,
a
put that in
program
my
HA hydrolyze to our arrangement, Hannah's symptoms and mood improved. She has now been living a normal life again. It has made a world of
Alright,
difference
we
to
are
us.
everything
ready.
is these days. But one guy in the business lounge let me in on a secret. He said if you think luxury travelers and CEOs are letting their money waste away in savings accounts, think again.
With today's sponsor, Masterworks, not only do they help me afford these crazy videos, but they also help you diversify your portfolio with an exclusive, high-value, low-correlation asset, contemporary art, just like the other CEOs. Masterworks has proven to
You
deliver
are
real
the
results,
mommy,
distributing net returns of
the
over
daddy,
$45
and then
million
the kid.
in art sales to everyday investors. Thanks to them, anyone can invest in
You
paintings
are
from the legends like
Alright,
Banksy, Picasso, and much more. And with 14 exits complete and every
Seriously,
single one
legendary.
giving profit to the
Make
users,
it brain
soon we can already
brain
fly
God, brain
first
God,
class.
brain
If you want to
God,
skip
brain
out on the
God,
waitlist,
galaxy.
have priority access to
The galaxy
Masterworks and the
mythic,
paintings
brain
will sell
God,
out in
brain
minutes.
God,
Make sure you go and
mythic,
click the link down
galaxy.
in the description. But now
Mythic.
it's time to get back to the
Brain-
video
brain
and
God,
catch
brain
my
God.
first class flight.
Brain God.
I'm gonna have to give that lounge a solid 9 out of 10. I have never been into a dedicated airline first class lounge before, but the food was amazing, the staff was nice, all the finishings were beautiful, and overall it was a great experience. But anyways, while we wait for our flight, I thought I'd come outside here on the balcony just so I could tell you guys a little bit more about Air Canada, some of the reviews and things that people have said about them, just so you guys know what we could expect.
Right off the bat, Air Canada has the 5th best first class in all of the Americas, consistently getting good reviews. According to Skytrax, they're rated 4 out of 5 stars. Business class gave them a rating of 8.5 out of 10, and to make things even better, apparently over the next few years, they're going to be
Well, I'm just trying to get a secret, right?
So I am super
I'm
excited to
trying to
finally
get-
be checking them out, considering I haven't even flown them since the pandemic, and on top of that, I've never flown with first class before, so it's heading out of the gate and experiencing it for the very first time. It's actually perfect
Remember,
timing,
I just
too,
got,
because I
like,
just got a
6
text saying
secrets.
boarding has now begun.
After
Dang,
making it
really?
down to the gate, I noticed it was insanely busy, and normally this would be an issue, but since I was flying what Air Canada calls their signature class,
I'll
I
be
was
back.
able to walk to the very front of the line
Alright.
and skip everyone.
Thank you.
I never just grinding unbox a grain rubber. Like, is that good or is that bad?
Perfect. Thank you.
Check,
Good
check,
morning.
check, check.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now that I scanned my
I'm
boarding pass,
not
I
gonna
got
lie,
my
but
first
I'm
glimpse
lucky
of the Boeing 777 I'd be flying on today. And as I got closer to the plane, I got more and more excited for what was soon to come.
Here we go. Finally time for first class. Yep. Thank you. It's kind of funny, I'm definitely the youngest person in here, and I kind of don't feel like I belong, but oh well. Morning.
Morning, how are you?
Good, how are you? 6K. That's it?
Down your seat, yeah.
Thank you.
Trying to get rid of mythics.
Sorry about that.
For today's
It's
flight,
a
I was in
plane.
seat 6K, which is certainly the most
Here it is.
insane airplane seat I will have ever sat in before. And as soon as I got seated, I was immediately served with a glass of champagne and greeted with a menu.
Thank you.
Bro, Kaden, guess what I just got,
The way
bro?
first class generally works is that you order your primary meal right at the beginning of the flight, and after opening the menu, I was greeted with all of the information about their in-flight package. For the appetizers, I'd be getting halibut and smoked salmon with fresh greens and warm bread. For the main course, I had the choice of beef fillet, roasted chicken, salmon, and cauliflower pasta before having chocolate crumble cake for dessert.
Would I be able to do the beef fillet? Sure. Thank you.
I was completely shocked that they knew my name, but what was even crazier
I
was
just got
the drink
secret.
menu. Because there were so
I
many
just got
different
some
types of
secret.
expensive
I just got
wines
some
and
secret.
alcohols to choose from, but I'll show you what I got in just a bit. Since my orders had all been taken, I decided to explore my seat where I noticed an amenities kit that I would definitely be needing to go through. The next thing I noticed was the over-ear headphones provided that I'd be able to use for the entire duration of flight. A remote to control the in-flight entertainment, full-size power outlets, USB ports, and headphone jacks. Multiple windows all
Dude, Chamber, you should come see my face right now. I upgraded all.
Tons of room for storage, over-the-shoulder reading lights, and a bunch more that I'll be showing you in just a bit. But I think it's time we go through that amenities kit I was telling you about earlier.
Alright, so in the man they gave us, we have...
Sounds like I broke into a million pieces.
We got a bar of soap for washing your hands. We got a microfiber cloth if you have glasses, sunglasses, or anything like that you want to clean. We got a dental kit that comes with a toothbrush, toothpaste, and I think floss. And finally, we got a pair of earplugs. This is so much different from economy. If I can afford to fly this all the time, I definitely would.
But you know what? Now I think it's time we check out one of the most exciting features of this seat, which is the in-flight entertainment. And I will admit, I wish the remote was wireless instead of having this weird cable, making it slightly clunky to use. From the remote, I was able to do a bunch of things, like the default screen controls, but I could also do other things too, like activating the overhead reading lamps. But that's when I noticed an issue. For some reason, my screen got stuck unwelcome and appeared to be frozen for about 10 minutes, which definitely isn't normal. But luckily, the camera was nice enough to start a system reset. But even this process was taking quite a while, and soon we began pushing back from the gate. So I need to wait and see if my TV was going to be working for this flight or not. Today, I'm on an 8.5-hour flight from Frankfurt, Germany, all the way to Toronto, so we'll have plenty of time in first class. And thankfully, as I was enjoying my seat and looking at all of the insane planes, my TV began to work, just in time for us to make it to the runway and begin taking off. Now that I was in the air, I decided to check out the entertainment some more, because look how big this screen is. Air Canada had tons of different movies and TV shows to choose from, and I was honestly impressed at how quick and responsive the screen was, especially compared to economy, which is generally quite laggy. But one complaint I do have is that they promote Wi-Fi, but even flying first class, we needed to pay, which is ridiculous. Anyways, now that we had reached altitude, a flight attendant came around with a hot towel, which was definitely relaxing, but it was soon going to be time for the meal.
Hi there. Thank you. There we go. Thank you. Awesome, thank you so much. I think the crew knows I'm filming.
Okay, alright.
It's sussed out, but I mean, I'm allowed to do it.
If I didn't tell you that I'm rebirthing.
And both white wines, which include
Thank God I didn't
Chardonnay and an Italian Passerina, along
Yeah, I did some rebirth.
I'm not gonna pretend
Bro,
like
guess
I'm a
what?
wine
I
expert here,
rebirth.
but both were
Guess what?
absolutely delicious.
Brain
My
of
definitely
Galaxy
Italian
Mythic.
was just a bit better.
Who's
Now it was
my
time
grandma
for the
Noodle?
appetizer.
Who's
Served in a beautiful arrangement, there was a plate for salmon and halibut, the garlic bread, and finally a bowl of salad. And since this was a business class flight, we were given proper metal cutlery, which is awesome compared to the plastic stuff you get back in economy. I don't know if the food tasted better just
I get a
because it's
secret
first
or
class,
not
but
really bad?
overall I really enjoyed it.
I got a secret.
Considering
I got a
I'm an
secret.
extremely picky eater, this is saying something. But soon after
Like in another comment.
I think I know how to fly.
You could do with 10 weeks free from
Okay, we'll turn
NIB.
off the engine.
Just join any combined NIB
If
hospital
I
and
get
extras
one
cover
there.
online by September 30th.
Like in another
NIB, potentially amazing.
Like in Bro, if I get a legendary again, I'll rebirth.
the appetizer, I was immediately brought the
Sorry,
main
I'm sorry,
dish.
but
Today,
too
I ordered
soon.
the beef fillet with mashed potatoes and veggies.
I get
I've never had a meal like this on any flight before, but it was genuinely some of the best
I don't know why
meals I have ever
Dun,
had.
dun,
But
dun,
after destroying it
dun.
for dessert, I was served a
No,
chocolate
it's
crumble. I'm a huge fan of chocolate, so I was really looking forward to this, and I can confirm it was just as rich and delicious as it
Gorilla,
looked.
what's
After
my
finishing
gorilla?
my meal, I decided to make my way towards the bathroom to check it out. Inside was a nice
I'm gonna
make-believe
try
design
to use
with
my
its
mom.
air
I'm
cavity.
getting
It was also quite good. As for the rest of the bathroom, it was quite clean with all of the usual amenities, but there was also a window where you could look at the world while doing your business. Leaving the bathroom, I decided to check out the snack bar, where I could grab anything at any time, but I decided to get some dark chocolate, and when I went back to my seat, I noticed the cabin had been dimmed for sleep.
Yeah,
The
I'm
only thing I wasn't expecting is them shutting off
I'm
all the
already
lights
like
during the
200.
flight. Last year when I flew home from Europe in economy, they never did
Oh,
that.
I
But
have
in
to
first class, they
pee.
dimmed all of the lights so everyone could sleep.
I didn't
Now, beside me in this little panel, I
or
have a
secret
light,
at
so I can
30.
tap it, and it'll turn on, but obviously I wasn't using that.
I
But
get
it
the
was still
frog and the
super
bloody
cool, and
child
I've never
that we got.
experienced this before. Also,
I get
when
a
I finished all
pudding
mentions,
and
I
a
got
bloody
extremely
spoon.
lucky with my seating.
And
The
any
seat
other
right in front
rarity
of me
on
is
them.
empty, and the one beside me is empty, meaning I can
Hey,
pretty much
dude.
film whatever I
Yes.
want, and I'm not going to bother anybody.
Would you
After this,
ever,
I am
in your
definitely
life,
going to
unfriend me?
review some more first-class airlines.
Why
because
is
this
that?
is life-changing.
Well,
But guess
because
what?
I
Things
just
got
mean-
even crazier because I just discovered that the seat came in with a
Because
built-in
I just
massage
don't want
feature.
any
And
of
on
my
top
friends
of
to
that, I was
unfriend
also
me
able to
because I've
change
already
all
had
of the dimensions of the
about
headrest and lumbar support, which is insane to
666,000
experience
people
in
already
airlines.
unfriended me.
Another thing I found on the panel was that I could also
Because
use the
I've
touchpad
just
to change the way
been-
that the seat was
For some
oriented.
reason, I keep
But
on
if I
saying
wanted
I'm
to
just really
hold
bad
it
at
flat,
it, so
all
I
I
was
had
just
to do was
saying.
hold the physical button
Say
itself.
you, Brian,
This
Brian,
wasn't
from
all,
me.
though, because I could also set my
That's
seat
all.
to do not disturb, call the flight attendants, or have them wake me up for food, which is
I'm
exactly what I was
used to
going to
this
do,
thing is
because while
bucket.
watching my movie, I started to get quite tired, and before I knew it, I had passed out.
But I can't boost my luck.
Good morning. Alright, so we are
Pardon?
75% way through the flight right now, and it is incredible. Obviously, this is my
Tell me
first
why
time flying
flying a
business or
fighter
first
jet
class, whatever you want to
first
call it, but
is
it was
so
unreal. I
cool.
have never been so comfortable on a flight before.
Because you can
I'm the kind of
basically
person that
see
can
more
never
of it and
sleep on
stuff.
planes, but somehow I actually got like 2 or 3 hours, and then besides that, I was pretty much just laying down watching movies the entire
You
time.
kidding
Now, in
me?
terms of the seat, at the beginning of the flight, they gave us a mattress cover, a
Hard
blanket,
landing.
and a pillow.
Hard
I used the
landing.
blanket for
Super
a bit.
hard
It's kind of
landing.
warm in here, so I
Very
decided to take it
hard.
off. And honestly, in my opinion, I think the seat is comfy enough without the mattress cover, so I didn't really bother. But it is incredibly awesome to have
Yeah,
a
that's what
full-size
we would
pillow,
like to
especially
see.
just watching movies and when you're laying down.
Bro, can you hear this? This is me listening.
And they're gonna start waking people up. And at that point, the second round of food is supposed to be coming, and I am extremely excited to try it.
This is me
And
playing.
the lights ended up coming on
What's this,
sooner than
guys?
expected,
Going
and now
to
it was
the stream.
time
Look at what's
for the
coming out
lights
the
in.
wings.
Similar to the appetizers, everything was nicely arranged, featuring a plate of pasta and various meats, a bun with butter, and fresh fruits. And overall, it was quite delicious.
Yeah,
I
go back
wish
on
it was a
A.
warm meal rather than a cool one. So now at this point, I'm sure you guys are probably wondering the big question: how much did I actually end up paying for this entire experience? Well, like I said earlier,
Has everyone left?
$10,000.
Is Willow still there?
Insane amount of money. But for this seat today, I paid
Actually,
plan points and I think $100
Roxy?
on top of it. So actual cost value was probably
Yeah, I
around
think so.
$600.
Courtney's mum got
And to
arrested.
put that into perspective, that is
Did you
cheaper
know
than
Courtney's
an
mum
economy
got
seat on this
arrested?
same flight. Now the way that I got these points was through my travel credit card, and I was able to transfer my Amex points into Aeroplan points,
Yeah.
and all the points that I did get was through a sign-up bonus. And if you guys are
Oh,
interested in
I got the legendary crate. What do you think I'll get out of it?
down in the
A
description
guaranteed
so you guys can check
legendary,
it out for
obviously.
yourself. And now there's only about 30 minutes left in this flight, so let's enjoy the rest of the first
You sure
class
legendary?
experience while we
Because I
celebrate.
got a bloody secret. Wait, guess what I got? I got Grandma and Magoon. I got it a mythic and it's huge. It's really good.
And before I knew it, we were coming down through the clouds and coming in for landing.
Wait, you were wrong. I got a bloody secret. My secret was Rhinos Tosaridos.
Rhino Tostarino.
So overall, I highly recommend
Yeah.
this to anyone who is able
Bro,
to
I
afford
only
it.
rebirthed
Points are money.
once,
And
and I'm not on a
Canada's
rebirth.
signature class, a solid 9 out
Wait,
of 10.
how do you get a
If you enjoyed
second
this video, make
floor?
sure you check out another one of my videos where I flew Delta's domestic business class.
Voltaren Pain Relief Gel 12 hourly reduces inflammation at the...
What if I
Hey,
told you America...
Hayden,
Yes.
how do you get the second floor?
You need a rebirth like twice.
You rebirthed twice.
which is super big.
Wait, you didn't rebirth?
No, I mean
You
you
haven't.
A reading
I mean,
log
like,
in
you
case I
need
was
to
gonna
rebirth
read,
twice
another
for it to
cubby to
happen.
store items, the safety pamphlet, which we won't be needing since this
So
isn't
I'm just
a home,
saying,
and also
sure,
this
I
water
just have to
bottle
go
is
from
some
Brain of
armrest,
God,
just
Brain of
in
God,
case I got
Mythic,
thirsty.
Now at this point, I
Mythic,
should
Brain of God,
probably address the
Brain of
elephant
God,
in the room. I'm
Secret,
sure
Brain
you've
of
probably
God,
noticed, but I'm
Mythic,
talking
Brain
very
of God,
quiet,
Brain
and
of
that's
God,
because
Mythic.
this is going to be
But
a
there's
Listen,
requirements.
comment.
Currently, it
There's
is
requirements in it.
2:06 in the
Yeah,
morning.
oh,
so
okay, then I
people
just
are
want to read it.
sleeping. They're kind of winding down, so I don't want to disturb them by talking too loud. On top of that, like I mentioned earlier,
I
this
bet
is
you,
going to
wait,
be a
I bet you had to read it 0 times and then you just put it in the secret code or something.
With a normal
Wait,
airline,
put in the
you would
code
need to drive to the
2541 and
airport
you
or
get 2
an
times
Uber,
luck.
but with this one, you get a private chauffeur.
Wait,
But
what?
normally when you think of the
Put
best
in the
airlines in
secret
the
code
world, you think about
2541
something
for
like
2 times luck.
Emirates, Qatar, or
Wait,
Singapore Airlines.
2,
But what if I told you
4?
that this one was better
2541,
than
is it
them
that
all? Well,
hard?
today I'm going to be testing out NCR and
Yes.
rating it based
2,
on these
5,
categories to see
4,
just how good
1.
it
Got it.
actually is. And spoiler
Should
alert,
be
it
2
may
times
or
luck.
may not have been the best
Yes,
business
I got
class
2
I
times luck.
have ever flown.
And I got
Thank you so
$1.
much. Now, not only do you get a chauffeur,
Then put it in the
service,
code,
but
there is
as
2 more
you
days.
can see behind me, there are also some butlers waiting to take the luggage. I'll be honest, I have never seen that on any airline before. And guess what? This
Yeah,
airport is
crap.
also brand new, so I think it's time we head inside to check it out.
Now, when I say this place
In
is
23
brand new,
hours,
I
my
meant it,
own
because this
shit.
airport is only a little over a year old.
Oh,
If you're a fan of Mission Impossible, you may have seen
Oh,
it
I already
before.
have that one, so
For
yeah.
me, I wasn't able to go and use the first class check-in since this area is even more exclusive. When I got to the business class one, all I needed to do was see the amount of bags I was bringing, agree to having nothing dangerous, place my bag onto the
else to
conveyor
put
belt,
here,
and
the
then I was
trippy
ready to go.
choppy.
So the check-in and bag drop went
Trippy
super
trop.
well, and I didn't
Trop,
actually
trop.
realize this, but over here is the normal check-in, and the business
We
and
got
first class
smoke
check-in
trailing
is
off my
completely
engine,
separate.
bro.
And one of the other things that I noticed is that there is a ton of space to just sit and lounge too.
Crashing!
And they also have drinks, juice,
No.
tea, and coffee all around the check-in area, which
Look
is
at my smoke.
unbelievable. But now that I got the boarding pass, it's time to head through security and check out the business
I
class.
think it's legendary though. I
Once
don't
again,
think
I
you
was in
need.
for a treat because when flying business class, there was a dedicated security
Don't need
just for us. So when it comes to the check-in
Maybe it's
experience,
secret.
I have to give that top stuff.
I
To
think
be
it's.
honest, I think that was the fastest security experience I've ever had. in
What
my
did you
life.
just
I was surprised
watch?
enough that business class got its very own check-in, but it also got its very own security too. I knew the airport was going to be super busy at this time, so I decided to come about 2.5 hours before my flight, and I was through
But
security in 5
playing
minutes. The
unboxing
plus side of that
right
is
now.
now we get even more time in the
Bro,
lounge, but the
I'm-
downside is there
Bro,
is a
there's no way
ton
there's
of
a
time
bar
before
on
the
the
flight.
plane,
So I think
bro.
it's time we go and check that out.
There is a bar on the plane. I never knew a bar could have a bar.
Bro, there's another bar on the plane. And then you have this.
You know, when a lounge has 2
Beautiful
floors, it's
cockpit.
definitely gonna be good. Actually, scratch that. This lounge has 3 floors.
Starting things off on
Aye,
the
bro, you're
second
not cool.
floor, there was a game room and a
Wait,
photo
say
booth. I wasn't
booby
quite sure what to
trap.
expect.
Say booby
Inside
trap.
was table football, air hockey,
Huh?
and 2 TVs with gaming
Say
consoles.
booby
Down
trap.
the hall from here, I found some showers, cigars that
What?
you could
What?
buy before smoking it in the
Say
lounge, super
booby
futuristic
trap.
air fresheners, but now it was time for level
Why?
3, which had this giant room
You say
lounge
it.
and a bar.
I swear, the more that I explore this lounge, the bigger it
I've
gets.
never said that word in
It
my
feels like
life.
this place is endless.
On
You've
my-
never said booby trap in your life.
Spa, which I totally would have
Never.
used if I had more time. But instead, I decided to go and grab myself a meal. When it came to the food, they had chefs preparing
You
all of the
kidding me right
dishes
now?
right in front of me, and there were so many things to choose from, I didn't even know where to start. There was rice, lamb, various Arab dishes, tons of different salads or spices, 10 different desserts that looked unreal, cheeses and fresh fruits, but my personal favorite had to be the freshly made
Are
bread.
you kidding me?
Oh,
I
and
got
I
some
forgot to mention, every
rings.
piece of cutlery was the Etihad
Actually-
logo.
You know what?
Stop.
I'm
You
sorry,
gotta let
but
me do
this
it
is the
again?
best business class
You
lounge
bloody kidding me,
I've ever
bro?
been to hands down. Obviously, I
Well,
haven't
there
flown
goes a
every
fighter
business class
jet.
in the entire world.
And
but
here
I've
is
done
my
15 or
beautiful
20
Airbus
of them, and
A350.
this one is just way better than everything
beautifulest
else. I don't know if
airliner
that's just
in the
because this
world.
airport is brand new. I think it's only about a year old. So the fact that this lounge has 3
My-
floors, it has a
my
game room,
button.
spa, and everything else
Yeah,
is
let's
just
do a
marvelous.
cockpit
And I got a
Wine
button that I got a fake rep.
is also delicious. This place gets a solid 10.
All I was just
You won.
missing
Making my way back through the
and
airport,
see
I looked at
and
pretty much every
hotspot. That's
designer's
all
store
I'm
I could
missing
possibly think
for my
of, because
huge
after all,
collection.
This is Abu Dhabi.
But now my flight's actually
Must
supposed to
be.
board in like 5 minutes, but before then I wanted to read you guys some of the
Yeah,
reviews of
really.
Etihad business class just so
Well,
you
I'm
know what we're
gonna
in
get
for.
right on that.
Amazing
Let's
flight
go.
experience. Their business class lounge
I
is
go
world
over
class.
again.
Clean cabin,
I'm
amazing
dreaming.
entertainment, good in-flight meals, and friendly cabin crew. 5 stars.
Watch
Very
this.
satisfied
Watch
and will recommend
this.
it to all of my friends. Love the lounge and amenities are incredible. 4.5 stars. This was my first ever flight with Etihad.
Agar
Love
Why was that look
Also
funny?
Now, obviously, since there
Bro,
were
I'm trying to get all brain
the
about.
reviews were going to be pretty solid. But now, obviously, those are
Alright, do you
just
wanna
the
play?
reviews, and the flight
Alright,
itself can be
do you-
completely
Finally give
different.
me one
Do you want to play?
Smelly night guard? Polydent retaining
Wait, you need to go for it now. Do a messy.
99% of odor-causing bacteria in 3 minutes.
Why does that matter?
Fruit, when it's fresh, it's
Just
better,
tell me who you go for.
tastier and healthier. Well, olives are fruit. So choose the
Who you
fresh
going
extra
for,
virgin
right?
olive oil
I go
that's
for
first
someone
cold pressed
who
within
gets
4
the
to 6 hours here in Australia. Cobram Estate.
To the gate and find out for ourselves. Hi there. There you go. Thank you. It's time to see what Etihad Business Class is all about. Hi there.
Is it okay if I want to watch gameplay?
Awesome. Just gonna scooch by.
Making my way through the business class cabin, soon enough I made it to 14K, and as you can see, this seat looked unbelievable.
Thank you. Much appreciated. So I'll be honest, I think I've been on the plane for maybe a minute, and I already have a glass of champagne in my hand. There is no business class I've ever flown where I've gotten champagne that quick. It's absolutely delicious.
But now checking out the seat itself, I got this massive comforter, which was
il
super
pinguino
cool.
volante
The
con
butt
gli
cushion
occhiali.
was solid, the backrest was well padded, and the headrest
Lionel
was also
Cactus
very
Sally.
soft too.
And on top of that, to make things even better, there's also this pillow, which is super soft and super comfy. And since this flight's going to be 15 hours, this is much appreciated.
So when it comes to the seat category, it looks
Bro
like
does
we're
not
ready to
have
give
that
them
many
5 stars.
secrets. He
But
only
now, there's
has
still so much more to
one.
check out. For example, there is this massive
Kinda
TV
bad.
in front of me. There's also a dinner menu, which is a la carte, meaning I could order at any time that I want. And those are just a few things, because there is so much more that we need to
Dolphinita
explore.
bananita.
So let's get started.
Starting things off with the legroom, there was an
Barroom,
insane
barroom.
amount to the point where I could
Yeah,
almost
barroom,
stretch out
barroom,
and inside
barroom,
the cubby
barroom.
bedding for later in this flight. And also
Lady
a
Larry.
leg rest for those who are
Wait,
asleep.
wait, you're in my game, right?
Two entire
You want my game?
to myself, which
Tampa
is
di
Wait,
Ferro.
come on, we sleep, bro. Can I tell you something? Look what I've been grinding for.
container for storing any personal items.
Well, look at this guy. Look at my basement.
Another cubby to store items, the safety pamphlet, which we won't be needing since this isn't a Boeing.
You think it's
and also
good?
this water bottle in the seat armrest.
Cappuccino assassino.
Now at this point, I should probably address the elephant in the room. I'm sure you've probably noticed, but I'm talking
Traco
very
Duco Tulu
quiet,
Della
and that's
Pella
because
Deuce
this
Deuce.
is going to be a red-eye flight. Currently it is 2:06 in the morning, so a lot of people are already sleeping, they're kind of winding down, so I don't want to disturb them by talking too loud. On top of that, like I mentioned earlier, this is
Am
going
I
to be
the
a
reason why
15-hour
you
flight in
can't go to
complete
sleep?
darkness.
Is that the reason why you can't go to sleep? Am I the reason why you can't go to sleep?
Get some sleep. And then once I wake up,
Oh,
I'm gonna
watch
check
this,
out
right?
all
Watch-
of the other
hear this,
things
hear
that
this.
are still gonna be in
Yes,
store for me on
yes,
this flight, because
yes.
15
Hear this, hear this,
hours
bro.
is a very long time.
But
Right, hear this, bro.
I am pushing back from the I am headed all the way from Abu Dhabi.
You're telling. Let me see this.
Now before taking off, the flight attendant came around and asked me what I wanted my meal, so I told her they're pretty much right after dinner. Now, I did mention it's a la carte, so technically I could have had my dinner at any time that I wanted. Theoretically, I could have had it like 3 or 4 hours from now, but I really need to sleep on this flight. Before I do get my food, you got much always that seat face. So we need to change into our
Opening things up, there was an entire cage for wine with 3 options for red and blue, all from different regions of the world, along with
It's
hot
Lionel
and dessert
Cactus
wines too. Besides that, there was also an entire list of spirits, cocktails, beers, and a ton of other beverages. But now, how about the food? Well, under the all-day menu, there was cereal, a yogurt dish with fruit, hazelnut pastry crown, steak sandwich,
Oh, I gotta bring up got sick.
samosa, and other goodies. For the dinner
Uh,
starters, there was soup, mains had shrimp, chicken, Canadian pasta. But for dessert, there was chocolate fondue, blueberry cake, fresh fruit, and ice cream. But now, how about that entertainment system? Well, right off the bat, the screen was absolutely massive and high quality. But checking out the movies, there were plenty of options, and the same can be said for the TV shows. Along with this, there was also a section for listening to music and in-flight map, which is always fun to mess around with. Radio,
Where am I at, bro? Is this my house?
So obviously, I had to play Uno, but I ended up losing to the computer.
Oh,
You can see the
it's
computer
my house. Hello.
That means I have 360 degrees
Yeah.
of complete privacy. That means this isn't just a in the sky. And that is insane to think about. The appetizer absolutely Arabic mosaic. And I don't pretty sure it's a variety of not 100% sure. On this page,
What? Who's talking to me? Couldn't see your guys.
interesting. I'm
Yeah.
excited to try that on this
No, don't kick him. Don't kick him. If you kick him, I leave.
And I think there's hummus. Could be wrong on that. And then finally over
Okay,
here,
alright.
salad and also white wine. Let's get started. And I almost forgot to mention they also gave me
Paula?
metal cutlery too, which is awesome. Up first, this pink item. Not sure what it is, but it is definitely some sort of that is
Oh, what?
really
No,
good.
wait.
Next up, the mini salad thing. It looks pretty solid. And it tastes really good too. Time for the mini bite. Super
Nice.
warm, a
I'm
little bit of
technically
cream
not
on
playing
the
it
inside.
right
Overall, solid 9 out of 10. And last but not least, the main salad. Now at this point, my camera decided not to focus, but the salad ended up being pretty solid. Then I got the main short which was unbelievable. And finally, I got my ice cream, but they also gave me an entire cake with my face on it. I think I have some explaining to do. So the dessert that I ordered was the ice cream, and I swear to God, I had no idea they were going to do that, but they also gave me an entire cake. And to be completely clear, Etihad is no official partnership or anything like that. But when I was in Dubai, I was out here for a conference where I met someone named Daisy who works at Etihad. I casually mentioned that I was going to be flying on them on the way home, and she had a special gift to me. So Daisy, if you're watching this video, thank you so much. Now there was absolutely no chance that I was going to be able to finish this entire cake myself, but obviously I needed to try a piece before bringing the rest home. Oh my God, that's unbelievable. It's chocolate with cherry.
Alex, bro, please. For me. Can you please be quiet?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you, bro.
Okay, I'm sorry, Chad. I'm sorry.
Alex, are you watching my live?
Ready? 3, 2, 1. See. Oh, I gotta go.
Oh my God, I'm flying. And I think I went too far.
And I'm lagging.
Yo! Huh? Alex, bro, what do you want?
Hi, Johnny, with the pick up his bum. Hi, I'm back. Hi, Johnny, with the pick up his bum. Johnny, with the pick up his bum.
Oh my God, we're lagging or. I'm talking to my friend.
So I had to go all out.
No.
I'm gonna get a secret. Ready? I'm gonna get another secret.
Pastry crown. Apparently, there's some strawberry, orange zest, vanilla ice cream, and something else that I can't pronounce, but I assume that's like the bread thingy on the bottom. Overall, everything looks great, but let's see if it tastes good. So let's take right
Oh,
now. Cheers.
yeah.
Oh god, we got some whipped cream and ice cream on there. It's a 10. It's so good. Whatever the pastry is on the bottom, it is super warm. It has a little bit of like a caramel cinnamon. Cream, the orange zest, the strawberries, it makes it perfect.
Kaden, I started earlier, babe. Hey! I'm allergic to grass. I touched grass yesterday. What do you say, bits and pieces?
The business class lounge was easily the best I had ever been to.
What you said? What you said?
It was super comfy. It had tons of privacy with the door. It also felt super
I'm just arguing with you though. You don't have to argue.
Around the plane were also
Okay, just tell me get up and down. What? Hey Kaden?
What? Alex, bro, you keep saying my name and then you don't say anything, bro. What do you want?
I got a secret.
Like what?
It's the same one you have.
It's scrunched up like that.
You're kidding.
Sorry, you're off. You can't do it again. This got screwed up. You're off.
I don't want to have to do that. I'm going to agree. I just did.
Business class on the world's best airline from the best airport in the entire world.
Not only does this place have a waterfall, movie theater, and an entire shopping mall, but it's also home to Singapore Airlines, where I want to find out if this can really live up to that.
And on top of that, Singapore Airlines business class is known to be one of the very best in the world too. And now that I'm here at the airport, I think it's time to head inside to check in and grab our boarding pass.
Like, bro, I'm actually gonna crash out.
Seoul, South Korea. P11? Cool. Awesome, thank you. Alright, so the check-in process was super quick and it was also super easy. Which is one of the better ones. So we need to check out something called the Jewel. And I'm not going to tell you guys exactly what it is because I'm just going to show you.
Located at the very center of the entire airport is a giant waterfall and passengers are able to relax before their flight. Inside this massive area, you have things like a spa, store to shop, an Apple store, tons of places to buy food, and even a movie theater.
I'll be honest, this is definitely the craziest airport I have ever been to. Truly, I have never seen anything like this in my life. But now that we're all done here, it's time to head through security and check out the business class lounge. And then after that, it's finally going to be time for the flight.
But security at this airport isn't like you would normally think. It's sort of out past the first.
Alright, well, security actually went by super quick. But now the one semi-strange thing about security here is there's two levels to it. So the first part is really just check your passport. They don't actually go through your bags yet. And this is what happened to me at the airport before. And pretty much what happens is they'll check your bags before you actually board the plane. And even though I now have a ton of time to kill, so I think it's time to check out the business class.
Classes on Singapore Air, but today I was going to be in the Silver Crest Lounge. Thinking maybe inside, they had a box on the wall.
So overall, I was actually super impressed with that lounge. It was super nice, it was super modern, it was super clean. There was a ton of selection for food, and the best part about the food as well is that it wasn't just Asian food, which is always amazing. The staff were also super nice, which is awesome. And pretty much my only complaint is I wish there was a little bit more to do. But overall, I'm still gonna have to give it a solid 9 out of 10. But anyways, now about 10 minutes left until my flight is actually supposed to be leaving. So I thought I'd take this time to tell you guys a little bit more about Singapore Airlines, just in case you've never heard of them before or have never flown on them.
Starting things off, Singapore Airlines is rated as a 4-star airline with tons of different awards. And when it comes to the customer reviews, you can see just how many 5-star ones there are compared to the 1-star. Jet said that he can't stop dreaming about flying on Singapore Air. Judy said that they had a nice flight with excellent service, and Janice said it was the best business class she has ever flown on. Looking at the small amount of haters, this user claims that Singapore Air isn't what they used to be. Ellie said they somehow failed to take them to their destination twice, and Yoshfed said that they had the worst business class. But I guess we're about to find out.
So now obviously, since Singapore Airlines is the world's best airline, the reviews are gonna be hopefully I don't end up missing this flight.
But lucky for me, since I was flying business, the staff helped me get to where I needed to be because my flight had already started boarding.
Time to see if I can do security without being double searched or not. How are you? Pretty good. Thank you.
Introducing new Control GX for Men, the first shampoo with a grey. So smart, it reduces grey rapidly. The more you shampoo, the less grey you have. How smart is that? Gradually reduce grey with Control GX shampoo from Just for Men.
Hi, my name's Ravi and I'm the founder of Search Prop. We're not your average buy agency, we only focus on property investing. We're trying to go out there, buy the right property at the right price, and most of that is off market. We do all the research and negotiating. We're definitely not your 1 or 2 person.
That's got the guaranteed secret.
We've been here operating in Sydney for over 5.5 years. We've helped over 2,500 search property clients. So if you're serious about investing the smart way, outperforming
Bro,
the
you
market
keep like
year on
your
year,
mic is so
then
like
definitely
quiet.
go
I
ahead
can't even
and
hear
book
you.
in a call below.
So after that amazing airport, the awesome lounge, it is finally time for the flight. Hi there. Yes, you may.
Unlike most
I'll
airlines,
be back.
on this one I actually got walked right to my seat from the flight attendant.
Oh my god. This is gonna be awesome.
For today's flight, I was gonna be in seat 17A, and as you can see, this thing is
Lionel Cactus
absolutely
Salad.
insane.
Lots of champagne and orange juice. Like some sparkling, I also have
Sure, I'll do the champagne.
You mean now?
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Ooh, this is really good.
And now make sure you stick around, because throughout this flight, there's gonna be a ton of crazy things that you're gonna want to see.
So some initial thoughts. Right off the bat, this seat is unfreaking real. The butt cushion, backrest, and headrest are all super comfy. There is genuinely a ton of room and also a lot of privacy. On some airlines, the business classes actually don't have a lot of privacy, which kind of sucks, but on this one, you're in this like full cocoon, which is amazing. The only downside to the cocoon is that I don't have access to the window back here, but I do have full access to this one, which is totally okay. The leg room is great, everything is spacious. The screen for the entertainment system is also massive. So there is a ton that we are going to be exploring during this flight. I am super excited for this.
Looking under the foot cubby, I found a blanket and a pillow for the flight, and it's
It's
safe
my
to say that
guaranteed
there was
secret
a
chest.
ton
Reno
of
Toasterino.
light. Checking
Reno
out the cab
Toasterino.
beside me, there were a bunch
Reno
of buttons for
Toasterino.
the seat
Reno
controls, but
Toasterino.
one of them turned all of the lights on or off
I
around
got
the seat,
Reno
including
Toasterino.
the overhead. But if you were lazy like me, you could still just tap it yourself. Right beside my head was a mirror, in case I wanted to check myself out. A headphone jack for the TV, a coat hanger, and also
Hello?
a mini phone to control things.
Talpa di Fer.
God damn it. The hot towels are really hot. I'm definitely not complaining, it's refreshing, but like, they are very, very steamy. And they also smell like flowers.
Looking around the seat some more, inside the cubby beside me was a full-size power outlet with USB ports, along with the headphones for the entertainment system. Let's say you were older and wanted to do some reading instead of watching TV. On the other side of me were various different reading lamps, but one thing that I didn't expect to find was a seatbelt like on a car.
I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the crossbody seatbelt, but it's still pretty interesting to see on a plane. Okay, so we do have a very, very slight issue. The pilot just came on the overhead and said the flight has been delayed by about 20 to 30 minutes. They're having some sort of an engine problem. Now, normally if I was in economy, I wouldn't be the happiest with the delay, but when you're in business class and the flight gets delayed, that just means you get to enjoy the experience even longer. So I think this is the first time in my life I'm actually happy that the flight has been delayed, because this scene is unreal.
But don't worry, once I'm in the air, I still need to show you the entertainment system and the various meal services. But thankfully, after the 50-minute delay, we had started pushing back from the gate. For today's flight, I was going to be flying roughly 6.5 hours from Singapore to Seoul. And after getting to the runway, it was time for takeoff.
There's a tournament on.
Is it duos or is it squads?
Squad.
Well, then we can't do
The
it.
meal
because we
service
don't
would
have a
soon be
squad.
starting, but before then, I decided to check out the entertainment
Triple keyboard is gonna hop on and one of my other friends is. I just need one more.
with hundreds of shows as well. Along with that, there was a tab for music, games, an in-flight map, and also the amenities. Starting things off, we had the Wi-Fi, which was complimentary, but there was also a physical amenity kit too. Along with the nice bag, inside there was hand
Well, what about me?
lotion, lip chop, and facial mist. But after looking through that, I was served a pre-meal snack.
I'll be honest, I have no idea what this is, but it is really good. I think it's some sort of chicken sauté. I'm probably horribly mispronouncing that, but it is super tasty. But soon it's going to be time for the
What the hell?
It's time to look through the menu for today's flight. For lunch, there was salad, grilled beef, Singapore-style roast chicken, and lamb cutlets. But for dessert, there was dinosaur cake or a cheese platter. For drinks, there was a bunch of different wines to choose from, tons of hard alcohols, and pretty much anything you could possibly think of. Normally, when you're in business class, there are two main ways that the menus work. The first one, the flight attendant will come over and they'll just ask you what to eat, and the second one is something called a la carte. Generally, when that happens, you could order whatever you want, whenever you want, and there's no designated meal.
Occasion, you realize you can also just go and
And
fill.
the last time that I flew on them, it was the first option where the flight
It's an
attendants
OG
come around
cup.
when you're on the
So
ground,
you
you
go
tell
and
them what you
fill
want to eat, and you're good to go. But
We
this
can't,
time,
bro.
I actually did something
Yeah,
different.
you can.
called book the
Wait,
cook.
no,
You can't just
Pretty
go
much the
in
way
there
that
and
this
be like,
works is up to
play
24
Phil.
hours before your flight, you could book
It
whatever
put two
main
people
meal you
squad.
want. Normally when you fly
Your
business
friend
class,
hopped off.
depending on the routes you
Alex
take,
hopped off.
the menus will be slightly different.
Alex!
For example, flying from Singapore to Seoul will have a
He's
different
not there. His
menu.
mic is in the chat and it says he's
But when you do
offline.
book the cook, you
Put
actually
the,
have the option
creative
from
link.
any menu to any destination. And on this flight in particular, the main course is a grilled beef fillet with veal juice, a Singapore-style roasted chicken with rice and oriental vegetables, and for the third choice you have herb-crusted lamb cutlets. And now if I'm being completely honest, I actually forget what I ordered last night. It was some sort of a meat that sounded really good that definitely wasn't on this menu, so we're gonna have to see what that's like. But I did notice them starting the meal service, so we're gonna find out what I ordered soon enough. Taking out my tray table, it was pretty much the size of an entire table, but for an appetizer, I was given a chicken and veggie salad before getting the lamb for my main, and also the dino cake fruit combo for dessert, which was delicious. Right off the bat, this seat is unreal. My back isn't sore whatsoever. This pillow right here, yeah, it is insanely comfortable. I don't know if it's some sort of like a memory foam, but it is really good. The last time I flew business class in Airlines, it was on the 777, and I think that seat is a little bit wider. You do have a little bit more space, but I think I actually prefer this one, strictly because of how it's oriented and also the leg rest. This one is way more comfortable being straight and not on a 45 degrees. The meal service on this flight was unreal. It was absolutely delicious. The in-flight entertainment is also top tier. There are so many movies and so many TV shows. Truly, there is no chance you can get bored on this flight, because even if you don't want to watch movies or shows, you have free Wi-Fi with business class, which is unreal. Another thing that I love about this seat are all the little details. For example, we got these rain lamps over here. We got the mirror on the side here in case you want to do your makeup or just look at yourself. Now, there's still about 3.5 hours left in this flight, and a few other things we gotta check out, like the amenities kit. We gotta see the seat in different positions, potentially even a bed. I haven't decided if I'm actually gonna sleep yet. So let's get started with that right now. Making my way to the bathroom, I wanted to see just how bougie it was going to be. Making my way inside, it was definitely nice, nothing over the top, but I was happy to find that there was a variety of products, hot towels, and real flowers. Now that I was back at my seat, I decided to finally test out the different modes, like the standard seating position, but I also went and checked out the lay flat because it became a full-on bed.
I've been waiting for you, Obi-Wan. We meet again.
Bro, why do you keep leaving?
No, stop cheating.
Bro, why do you keep leaving?
Oh yeah.
Hello? Hello? Alex! Alex! Oh, my.
Every single person who learns us at Macquarie University brings something unique.
More we can see there.
I think I'll start with this image. And the discussion is really cool.
You bring your passion, ambition, creativity, your dreams and ideas.
Is it muted on stream? It's not.
And when that potential is multiplied, collective.
And today we're going to learn about atmosphere dysfunction.
Amazing things can happen. We call it you to the power of us. Macquarie University.
Now by this point in the film, I'm sure you're probably wondering how much do you actually pay to be flying business class on the world's best airline? Let me explain. So business class seat like this does not come cheap. It is actually pretty expensive. But this exact room in particular, season like it's about $2,700 American, which is a lot of money for a 6-hour flight. Now that is the cheap end of things. So found this very same flight for up to $6,000 American, which is absolutely mind-blowing. But now, did I actually pay that much money for this flight? No. In reality, I actually used 15,000 credit card points that I've been saving up, plus like $200. So if you convert the points to a dollar amount, it's about $700 US to fly this seat. And now that you know the price, you're probably wondering, well, is it worth the price? And well, the answer to that is a big flat yes. First of all, an economy class seat in this room would have been about $450 to This is me drinking champagne and eating edible gold in the world's best business class. But what other crazy things make it so good? In order to find out, I'm going to be spending 12 hours in Qatar Airways' luxurious Q Suite, which can cost over $10,000.
And this is going to be my very first time ever experiencing Qatar Airways, and I am super excited. There's going to be 5-star dining at any time that I want, really flat seats, and a ton of other cool things that I'm going to be showing you guys throughout this video. But since we're already at the airport, I think it's time to head inside to see what the business class check-in is going to be like. Hi there, how's it going? Good. Yeah. None.
Just take your carry-on, please.
Yeah, go for it.
For your soup, you could just give it to the flight attendant. We'll put it in a special closet for you.
Oh, cool.
You're welcome. Gate 51, we're 5 kilo, 7:45 boarding time from Doha, 8:50 departure.
departure. Joyce. Alright, so the business class check-in went extremely well. For today's flight, I'm going to be in seat 5K, which is probably one of the most insane business class seats you will ever see in your life. But now, since I am flying business class, that does mean I get access to the business class lounge. Unfortunately for me, I'm not flying out of Doha, so I don't get the full experience, because apparently their lounges are supposed to be insane. But since I do have my boarding pass, I think it's time to head through security and see what the lounge is. At this airport. And thankfully for me, after finding where I needed to go, I was able to make it through without any real issue. So considering this airport is extremely busy right now, security went by super fast. There was no special line for business class, which kind of sucks, but it was still only about 10 minutes from one side to the other. And on top of that, I didn't get double inspected, which was super nice. Now that I was done with that, it was time for me to find the business class lounge, which turned out to be the National Banks Lounge. Making my way inside, there was plenty of room for seating with views overlooking the plains down below, but unfortunately, the food was a bit of a letdown. The majority of the main dishes were completely empty or unappealing. The snack section was picked over, but the silver linings was that there was a decent salad area and a bar for drinks, so I got myself something light, because I knew that in just a few minutes, I'll be on the world's best business class enjoying some 5-star dining. That had to have been the most unfortunate lounge experience I've ever had. When it came to the meal selection, there was basically no food whatsoever, and it also wasn't the best, so that one gets a solid 5 out of 10. But it is finally time for boarding, so let's head to the gate and experience the world-famous Qatar Airways business class. And luckily for me, the gate for today's flight wasn't very far from the lounge, and after getting there, it was just in time for boarding. So thankfully, the flight is right on time, and I am the youngest one in the entire business class cabin. I definitely feel out of place. Hello. Pretty good. Thank you. It's time to see how good the world's best business class actually is. I am super excited. Hi there. Can I pass off my suit to someone?
Yeah, no, you're saying that yourself.
5 kilo. Thank you. That way?
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh my god. This is insane. For today's flight, as I mentioned, I'm going to be in seat 5K, which is a window seat. And just looking at it, this is the craziest business class I have ever seen. I knew this was rated the world's best business class, but I didn't expect it to be this good. The amount of room you have in here is insane. This business class is the first class on a ton of other airlines. Now I want to know what Qatar's first class is like, considering how good this is. The seat itself is incredibly comfortable. The butt cushion, unreal. The fancy lumbar support, the back cushion, and headrest are also super comfortable too. And normally I do things like the legroom test, but this time it was insane. There is so much that even when I put my feet fully extended, they are still not touching anything. Now obviously I just got on the plane and there is so much to explore. There's a TV, there's tons of buttons, there's tons of storage cabinets, and there are still a few surprises that I haven't even told you guys about. And one of those surprises is an entire corner filled with goodies and a gift box which I'll be opening once we're there. But before then, I decided to look around some more, where I found a full-size power outlet, a headphone jack with USB, and even an HDMI port, meaning technically you can play video games on the entertainment screen. But most impressive of all was the attention to detail on things like the stitching and even all of the different lamps around the seat. What do you guys have? Oh, the champagne. The first one. Yes, please, thank you. Normally on airlines they give you like one option, but they had 4 different welcome drinks you could have. I'll be honest, I don't know what kind of champagne I ordered. It sounded the fanciest and the most expensive, so I decided to just go with that one. I have a feeling these next 12 hours are going to be insane. And while I wait for my champagne, I decided to see what some of these buttons do. Some control the lights on the floor and the footrest, but the others were all of the seating positions, such as takeoff, lounging, lay flat, massage, lumbar support, and 2 others to move the backrest up and down or forward back. Now normally when you fly, you get 1 window, but this seat came with 3. It also had personal air conditioning and reading lamp, but that's when I noticed this plane was a Boeing, so let's hope that nothing happens. Thank you, so just pajamas?
Yeah, tops and trousers with sleep pants.
Cool, thank you so much. selection on this flight was actually mind-blowing. There was luxury non-alcoholic bubbly, 4 mocktails, cold beverages, iced tea, iced coffee, regular tea and regular coffee, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Rosé, Bordeaux, other wines I have never heard of, which included dessert wines. There were spirits, beers, cocktails, and literally anything you could want. But how about the food? Well, for the starters, there was apple soup, Spanish-style tapas, and lobster tail. The mains had a full lobster, beef tenderloin, braised chicken, stuffed peppers, spreads of cheese, and for dessert, gooey chocolate fondue, fresh fruit, and an ice cream sundae. But that's not all. Because for breakfast, there's fresh orange juice, healthy shots, smoothies, Greek yogurt bowls, cereals, omelets, breakfast croissants, acai bowls, and so much more.
There is so much happening right now, but in the best way possible. So this is that super fancy champagne I was telling you about, which tastes unreal. I'm not sure if you guys heard, but apparently for dining it has at any time that I want. So for example, right now it's 8:30 at night. If I wanted to, I could have breakfast right now. And on top of that, I think I could have as much as I want. Oh my god, even the refreshment towel is scented. It smells like lavender. I feel so replaced right now, but this is unreal.
And guess what? There's still so much more to come, because I've still got to show you guys the entertainment system, other secrets around the sea, what it's like as a bed, and the food, and so much more once I'm in the air. And now that we have begun pushing back from the gate, it was time to head to the runway. For today's flight, I'm going to be flying 12 hours from Montreal all the way to Doha. And after finishing our taxi, it was time for takeoff. So now that I'm in the air, I thought I'd reveal the first surprise. And you're probably wondering why I have the camera angled like this. And that's because this room has a door. That is right. This fully closes to give me 360 degrees of full privacy. If I really wanted to, I could go like this for the entire flight. But I think for the majority of it, we're going to be keeping it closed. Now, another crazy thing about these Q suites that I want to tell you guys about is there are 3 different layouts that are entirely different. The layout that I'm in right now is considered the
With Prime Big Deal Days coming 7 to 13 October, greatness is a deal away. Shop deals from home to electronics this Prime Big Deal Days.
single suite. Now, the second type of Q suite is the double. These are the suites for anyone traveling as couples. And then the third type of suite on here is the core. If you're a family of 4 traveling for business partners or anything like that, you can get 4 seats like this in a cube. After takeoff, you can put down all of the different walls and make it one giant 4 suite. And I have never seen anything like this on any other airline. And now that I'm in the air, I think it's time to go through some of the goodies they had given me on the ground. Inside the gift box is facial spray, essential face cream, lip balm, fresh lotion, and a pair of socks. But that's not all, because they also gave me an entire bedtime outfit.
We got some slippers, some super nice big comfy pajama bottoms, and also a shirt for bedtime. But obviously, since I have the pajamas, I'm gonna need to change into them. Wow, much better.
And now, as I was doing this, I noticed there was this bunch beside me, which actually turned out to be a secret compartment that came with a water bottle and also full-size over-ear noise-canceling headphones for the entertainment system. And to control that, I had 2 options. This miniature remote on the side, which looked like a gaming controller, but it was also a touchscreen too. Going into the entertainment portal, there was a ton of different movies to choose from, all sort of in different categories, and when it came to TV, this was also the case. Because there were hundreds of different shows from all around the world. For audio, there was a section for prayer, music, podcasts, and there was also a section for games. But my favorite had to be the interactive map. I also forgot to mention that there was free Wi-Fi on this flight for all business class customers. So after getting that all set up and putting on a movie, it was time for the meal service to begin.
I know this is probably a ridiculous thing to comment on, but normally on a plane when you get buns, they're cold, they're just kind of hard. These are warm, fresh buns. Qatar Airways goes above and beyond on every single little detail. I cannot wait for the main dish.
And not only did they give me a basket filled with a variety of these buns, which I happily annihilated, but now it was time for the appetizer, which was salmon with gold flakes on top. Yes, you heard me right. Those are literally pieces of edible gold. And for the main dish, it was time to destroy this delicious looking chicken.
So I'm not even just saying this to say it, but that was genuinely some of the best food I have ever had.
I've had a lot of airplane food, but this was pretty much the equivalent of eating at a really high-end restaurant.
The chicken was delicious, the rice was so good.
Even the little things like the salt, they use Himalayan salt instead of the regular salt. You got a little thing of olive oil, the whole presentation looks really nice. And now it's time to ask the flight attendant, can I have 2 desserts? And she pretty much said, why not? So obviously I had to do it, and for the first I decided to get the gooey chocolate cake, and the second was the ice cream sundae, which was totally worth it.
After that delicious dessert, I am officially in a food coma. I don't know what the other drink they gave me was, but it was really, really good. There was a lot of alcohol in it, so I think it's time for me to get ready for bed, because I am so tired I can barely keep my eyes awake.
And with that, I think it's time for the loo. Making my way inside, this bathroom was super bougie. It was super clean, and there was tons of room. To make it even better, there was a makeup mirror, velvet hand lotion, infused facial wash, a giant mirror, and even a drawer filled with toothbrushes. So once I was done, I went back to my seat, which the crew had turned into a bed for me without even needing to ask. And it also had a super soft blanket as well, which is always nice.
As you can see, I have pillows here. It is nicely made. I have a blanket, and I'm going to try my best to get some sleep. And then when I wake up, there's going to be breakfast and a lunch more that I still need to check out. But so far, this has to be the best flight I have ever been on in my entire life. But I'll see you guys in the morning. It's the best sleep I have ever had in my entire life. So normally on a plane, I'm the kind of person that cannot sleep whatsoever. This time it was actually a deep sleep. I had full dreams. I didn't wake up for solid 3 hours, so I was asleep like a baby. It made me feel like a real man, especially considering this is a 12-hour flight.
And now that I was awake, I was pretty hungry, so it was time to order some drinks.
So we're going to get the fresh orange juice, smoothie, the seasonal fruits, sorry. And then you guys have the acai bowl. Thank you.
Now, just like earlier, I got another basket of bread, but this time it came with a croissant, Danish, and more, along with the glass of fresh orange juice that I ordered. To start things off, I got my platter of fresh fruit, which was delicious, being served for my main breakfast meal, which was also a delight.
I'm sure you probably noticed the 2 of the things that I ordered. Originally, I ordered the smoothie and the acai bowl, but basically what ended up happening was because I was one of the later people awake, everyone else had their breakfast first, meaning those options were already gone, which is actually extremely normal, so I wasn't upset whatsoever. Now that I'm on the breakfast, I think it's time to change back into my normal clothes. Much better. Now at this point, I'm sure you're probably wondering, Eric, how much did you actually end up paying for this food? Well, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I did not pay a single dollar for this same restaurant. The reason for this is because I'm currently being flown by a company called the Web Summit to speak at a big time conference there. But I do want to be super clear, Web Summit is completely separate from the airline, meaning there is no affiliation whatsoever. So now, how about my final thoughts? This is the best business class I've ever flown in my time. And I can understand why people say it is the best business class in the entire world. The staff are the nicest flight attendants I've ever had. They are super attentive, there's like 4 of them, always joking.
Alex!
It's almost like they appreciate your ratings, they just know when you want to order food.
Sorry, my mic
They
wasn't
can't
working
sleep,
before.
it's just crazy. The
No,
food
bro.
is
Nah,
unreal.
bro.
The drinks were also
No!
the infinite
I ain't
cans of stuff
joining
is
that game.
crazy. It's like a
I'm sitting
30
out anyways.
screen. It kind of feels like you're in a movie theater. And then as for the seat itself, it is extremely comfortable. And I'll be honest, I'm probably forgetting all the other things, like the amenity kits, all the buttons and the features, because there is just so much going on. It's unreal. But now there's only about 30 minutes left in this flight, so I'm going to enjoy this while I still can. Because truly, this is the best airline experience I've ever had in my life.
And as I was saying this, we had begun our approach into Qatar, and before I knew it, we were coming in for landing. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and watch this one next, where I flew Europe's best business class.
Killed. this kid already joined. Need this guy to like die.
What if I told you Europe's worst airline was better than the best? Well, according to Google, Lufthansa and Ryanair were voted the best and worst airlines in the entire continent. But is this actually true or a complete lie?
So today we're going to be flying Lufthansa, which is supposed to be the better airline. And I've only ever flown them once in my life before, so it's going to be super interesting to see what they're like today. And so far, last night when I was doing the online check-in experience, we got off to a pretty smooth start.
After getting the check-in email, I was brought to the main Lufthansa site before being able to select my seats, agreeing to having nothing dangerous, and then I was all checked in and ready to go.
Now there's one huge problem I discovered this morning, so I'm going to tell you guys about that in just a bit. But before I do that, I think it's time we head inside the terminal to grab our boarding pass.
Today, I was going to be flying out of Copenhagen's Terminal 2, and making my way into the airport, it was time to use one of the kiosks. After selecting my airline and typing in my booking reference, I had to once again confirm that I had nothing dangerous from being able to print out my boarding passes.
Alright, so luckily I was able to print off my boarding passes without any issues, but this is where the problem comes in.
You're just bad.
I'm flying from Copenhagen, Denmark to Naples in
Well,
Italy.
that's
And I
because
thought it was only supposed to be one flight, but it turns out there was two. So the first flight is Copenhagen to Munich, then Munich to Napoli. And the problem with that is that Lufthansa scheduled me on a 30-minute layover. First of all, I didn't even know a 30-minute layover was possible because it is so extremely short. And on top of that, if there are any delays whatsoever and I miss my second flight, that means Lufthansa is going to have to put me on a flight tomorrow morning because the flight that they put me on is the last flight of the day. That means I can't have any delays, and once I actually get to Munich, I have to be one of the first people off the plane. And hopefully they'll hold it from me or there's going to be someone there to get me to the next flight.
And trust me, later in this video, I could have never imagined what was about to happen to me. But before we get there, I had to head upstairs and make my way through airport security.
Alright, well, Copenhagen security went super smooth. I didn't get double inspected, and it was also super quick. So we're going to have to add a point to the tally. And I also love just traveling in Europe because I never get double inspected. But anyways, now that we're done all that, it's time for us to go find a lounge. And apparently there are two of them in this airport for us to check out. So let's go do that right now and see how good they are.
And thankfully, the lounges today weren't hard to find. And up first was the Carlsberg Aviator Lounge. Making my way inside, there was a ton of room to relax and socialize or to sit and eat a meal. So now what was the food situation like? Well, there was a variety of different salads and pastas, an arrangement of different lunch meats, crackers, cheese, and breads, along with a ton of different dips and spreads. But one thing for sure is there was a ton of alcohol, including Carlsberg beer on tap, different juices, coffee, and wine. But I just grabbed a water and something light, which was pretty good. But now it was time for the second lounge called the Spire. Making my way upstairs, I found it super funny that ice cream and burgers weren't allowed inside. But regardless, once I entered this place,
Can you come
it was
back?
massive, having tons of areas to sit, overlooking the
Can
concourse down
you come
below.
back?
How was the food? Well, similar to the first lounge, there was a ton of different types of cheese, lunch meats, dips, toppings, oils, snacks, rice cakes, breads, coffee machines, wines, and juices.